Thank you. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this ends the 9th chapter. With Manmana Bhava, having Ishvara in the mind all the time. And all the time is only possible by knowing Ishvara, by understanding Ishvara. So with this, now so Om Tatsad Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Raja Vidya Raja Guhyo Yogo Nama Navamo Dhyaya. Om Tatsat. When it completed, a chapter is completed, Om Tatsat, that means it's over. And this meaning is Tat Sat. That Ishvara is the Sat, is the real thing, is the truth. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu. In the Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads, in Brahma Vidyayam, which has Brahma Vidya, and Yoga Shastra. And in the Brahma Vidya and Yoga Shastra, because it has Brahma Vidya and also it has Yoga, Karma Yoga. In that, what is in this one? They say Yoga, Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyo Yogo Nama. Yoga here is topic. The topic is Raj Vidya, means the royal knowledge, means knowledge of the knowledges, all the vidyas, but this is the top vidya, Raj Vidya, the king of the vidyas. Rajguhya is king of the secrets. You have secrets, but this is the secret among the secrets. Why secret among the secrets? Because other secrets, you come to know, and it's a secret. But this one, even when you come to know, it still remains a secret. Means it doesn't totally understanding takes place. Listen, still it remains secret. So that's why listening again and again is important. So in that, this is the chapter, Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyo Yogo Nama, Navamo Adhyaya, the 9th chapter, which was in a samvada. Samvada means a dialogue. The dialogue between Lord Krishna and Arjuna, Navamo Adhyaya, is over. So this is what the conclusion is. Now, we want to end here because next chapter is starting and Swami Muktatmanji will be covering that. I don't want to start new chapter. So now, do you have any questions? We can discuss on that. Is there any question? In general, anything? You've been listening? You must have some questions. Was all understood? Okay, if there's no question, then I will create a question. Okay.
Hari Om. So we have Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Raja Yoga, Gnana Yoga. Yes, there is nothing equal to knowledge. We need the Gnanam for moksha. Is like just if you know intellectually what is that Aham Brahmasmi, after that just doing the karma yoga or choosing whatever according to our inclinations, whatever path, will that lead to moksha, or it has to be like in a stepwise that you do karma yoga? Is it like or a combination of all of them?
Right. All the yogas which they discuss, karma yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, Raj yoga, as you mentioned, the purpose is to prepare the mind. Okay. Because the mind has the samskaras which are gathered from beginningless time. We've always been here. Because this deha you have taken because of the purva karmas. And purva karmas, to do the purva karmas, you require a deha. And how did you get their deha? Because of purva karmas. So there is no beginning. Along with that, samskaras are also created. Samskaras is whichever your tendencies are. Whatever you do, whatever you like, you gather that tendency. We call it samskaras, And those are also collected. That's what they get. They are the ones who give you habits. They are the one who takes you to certain direction because of samskaras. They are as though like they are grooves in your mind. In certain habits, your thinking goes towards that. The pathways are opened in the mind. And in fact, physically also, the brain develops those, neurons and those pathways. So now, which is natural, because all the sense organs, the mind, are meant to see the world outside. Because you are born and you have deha, and this jagat is for you. To enjoy it, to do whatever you want to do with it. So those samskaras are the ones, then you develop habits from them. Okay. And they are from beginningless time. That's why we have so many desires also. They arise. Why different people have different desires? Is because of their own samskaras, So now, those samskaras are okay, which are healthy for you, which will lead you towards your own development, towards your own self-growth, towards your own understanding. And an ultimate understanding is understanding of Ishvara, the Lord, the Jagat, the world, and yourself. This is the ultimate understanding. And that, because that ultimate understanding gives you total freedom, called moksha. It's freedom from any sorrow. See, for us, it's not the freedom, okay, there will be no next Janma, okay, that's okay. No, it is current, right now, freedom from sorrow. Right now, the freedom is. Because you are by nature free. So you can discover it right now while living. Okay? Now, for that discovery, for that understanding, there are requirements. Like suppose you want to study higher math. The mind has to be prepared from earlier classes of math. Similarly here, those samskaras, if they are going toward naturally, because the mind wants to be happy, and the objects seem to give happiness, so everybody wants to go after objects, happiness. So naturally the mind, the senses, they all go towards natural pathways. This is how we are built, And that, suppose we've been following which are things which are not helpful to us. And you develop those samskaras. Because samskaras happen because whatever you do, whatever you follow, the impressions are left behind. So now, those samskaras, suppose, are not helpful for your journey. If you don't care for the journey, that's okay. You can just live a normal life with sukha and dukkha. But if you say there is a way of completely being free from dukkha, and there is a way there, I want to follow that, because whatever I have been doing all the time, it does not totally satisfy me. There's something missing. Inside there is always a lack. The lack is because the person is already free, wants to be free, and there is a struggle inside to be what the person is already. Okay? And it's not that something new is given. It's already the person who is inside as aham is free. But that has requirements. Because the mind, the knowledge is going to take place in the mind. It's a problem is of avidya, not knowing. And how are we going to remove avidya? By knowledge. Knowledge takes place in the mind. Okay. So, those samskaras, suppose they are opposed to that, of that preparation of the mind, then you require to prepare the mind. When you say, I am not understanding anybody, when he says, I don't know, I've been listening for so many years, but I don't get it, is because the preparation is not there in the mind. And the preparation is having those samskaras which are conducive for understanding, So that requires that the preparation is called yoga, You have different ways, like bhakti is there, It's all to change the samskaras. And the best one is karma yoga. Karma yoga is like, whatever you do, you offer it to Ishvara. Because karma phaladata is Ishvara. The results come from Ishvara. You have no really say in Ishvara, in the result. You have a say in efforts. Give it time. You can pray for Bhagavan to what you want. But eventually, it's the knowledge has to take place, and for that the preparation is karma yoga, and the karma yoga is you offer it to Ishvara. Whatever result comes, because you don't have any say in it, you take it as prasada. That's called karma yoga, prasada buddhi. Look how beautiful is this karma yoga. We have stress, we have anxiety, and we have become depressed if we don't get what we want, and other issues. Suppose what Bhagavan says in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna. But Bhagavan is the karma phaladata. Because Bhagavan knows all the factors. You don't know all the factors. When you do any action, the result has to take care of so many factors, Because you are living in a society which are interlinked with each other. So, take that into consideration. So then you don't have those factors. You don't know which other factors are influencing you. Because your karma is connected with others' karmas. So then you say, okay, I offer it to Bhagavan, whatever result come. When you offer something to Bhagavan, Lord Dakshinamurti, and the priest gives you something as prasadam, you take it with great respect. It's called prasadam. You may get a leaf, you may get just a tirtham, water, or you may get a laddu, or you may get a sweet, whatever, a fruit. It's a prasadam. You don't question it. Similarly here, when the karma phala happens, you accept it as a prasadam. When that happens, your mind is quiet, no stress, because it's not up to me, whatever Bhagavan gives is a prasadam. But you put effort, you give time. For any success, you need three things. You need effort, time, for length of time, and daivam, grace of Ishvara. You need three things. So once you have done that, your job is done. So this is the best remedy for stress, for anxiety, for depression, all based on that, the result you see around you. My home, my spouse, my family, my children, all that, So you just say, Bhagavan has given me this, and I will do my best. These are my children, Bhagavan has given to me, and these are my spouse, because of my own karmas. Bhagavan has given me this fruit, karma phala, I accept it. So the samskaras, this karma yoga, creates samskaras, which are leading you to purify your mind. We call it antakarna shuddhi. All these yogas are for antakarna shuddhi. And antakarna shuddhi means free from ragas, dvesha, likes and dislikes. I like this person, I don't like this person. I like this fruit, I don't like this fruit. I like this vegetable, I don't like this vegetable. These are ragas and dveshas, likes and dislikes. And people you don't like, work you don't like, boss you don't like. So all that is conflicts in the mind. So really, antakarna shuddhi is freedom from conflicts, freedom from ragas and dveshas. So this one, the samskaras are created by these yogas. And once those samskaras are created, it's very easy to understand. But always remember that these yogas are for antakarna shuddhi, as a preparation for knowledge. Mind has to be prepared. That's what they were saying, how easy it is, what to talk of. Kim punaha brahmanaha, because there are samskaras right from childhood. They have developed those samskaras, So what we live in life, the children, they pick up those samskaras. They follow parents. What kind of life we live, lifestyle. We develop samskaras in us. If we spend time in, I think that you got it. So if you follow a certain lifestyle of parties, of drinking, of wasting time, gossip and all that, those samskaras are going to be in that direction. Then your mind naturally won't go towards the things which will, for your own self-development. It will only go for small little joys, temporary joys. But what about the long-term solution? The purpose of human birth, durlabha, human birth is very difficult to get, the Shastra says. Once it's very difficult to get, how are you going to use this janma, this birth, human birth? If you're going to waste it away in all these things which are useless things, okay, that's your life, There's always a next birth. But if you want to have self-growth, want to be mature, want to grow as a person, want to improve your own self in your thinking, in your maturity, then you have to have alert life. You have to think about how you spend your time and how you affect the children. Yes, please. You turn that on.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one, you mentioned we need to have prasada buddhi and accept family or whoever is around us,
Right.
even though it may create perturbations, conflict in the mind. So my question is, when we are early in our sadhana, we are working on chitta shuddhi, we don't have the stairya yet. Is it wrong to distance ourselves if we are finding that certain interactions are creating more conflict in our mind?
Yes, okay. The question is over?
Yes.
Okay. You see, that's a good question. How are you going to, certain situations, what you're trying to say, we should be away from those situations because we're in the beginners. Is that what I understand correctly? That in the beginnings you are and you can't have those. You don't have those samskaras, and in the beginning it's good to keep away from those situations which will create negativity or whatever. Is that what it is? The question is. Yes, but you have to be in such a way not to hurt people. Ahimsa is there, How are we going to move away from that? First of all, you don't go to those situations. Don't put yourself in that situation where you have to get out of there, number 1. Number 2, if you are in that situation and you can try to divert the discussion on some other topic which is not against what you want to be, okay, and as you said, last one is nothing wrong staying away from that thing, because suppose you're getting a call and this person is going to only create more disturbance in you, then you don't have to associate with that. So it's like going to a gambling den, and then you say, I want to go away from the gambling den. You can avoid right in the beginning itself, Yeah. And where you can't avoid because a very close person, then you have to find creative ways to be away from it. Yeah. Or start doing japa. Nothing goes inside the head, except there is a chanting. Think of Bhagavan. Offer those things to Ishvara. Bhagavan, I can't handle this person is talking all this, and I can't get away from this person. I offer it to you. Please help me solve this problem. Okay.
So thank you, Swamiji. Second question is, please correct me if my understanding is incorrect. That which is in time will end.
Right.
We refer to avidya as anadi, having no beginning. So because it has no beginning, how does it end? Does it mean that it is in time, but then it is anadi? So I'm just trying to understand.
Right. The question is, if it's anitya, but it has anadi, is a beginningless time. Just a minute. Then how would it end? Is that the question, right? You see, beginning and end really comes, the time is within a time. Okay, beginning and end is the time. But the vastu is, okay, let's look in this way. What is time? Okay, nitya is within time. What is time? Time, what is time? You say, well, 1 year is time. Okay, is 1 year is the time? But it has 12 months. Okay, 1 month is the time. Is 1 month is the time? Is 1 month has 30 days or 31 days? Is 1 day has a time? No. 1 day has 24 hours. Is 24 hours the time? No. It has 24 hours. So 1 hour has the time? No. It has 60 seconds. 60 minutes. The minute is the time? No. 60 seconds. Is second is the time? No. Microsecond. Is microsecond is the time? No. Microsecond. Computer can break it up. Microsecond. Is that the time? No. You can further divide it. What you end up? There's no time. You end up with presence now. Time is now. Timeless. The time's basis is timeless. Okay? So, when you say anitya to end, okay, it is, see, the Jagat itself is mithya. Time itself is mithya, as we analyzed it. It is there, but when you look into it, it's not there. Same with Jagat. Jagat, when you look at it, in it, Jagat is not there, really speaking. Because what it is, you say it's a tree. Look at a tree. But tree is, you look further into it, it's made up of cells, tissues and cells. When you look into a cell, it's made up of electrons, microns, and neutrons and all that. So that's the, but then what is the electron? What is electron? Well, it is negative charged particle. Okay, then what is it? You go further into it, you find you can't tell. It's nama rupa. Everything we are saying has a name. We say cell, it is a name. Tree, it is a name. Name has its form. Name, nama has artha, its meaning. So cell is a name and a form. It's called name. It has a form. Similarly here, nama rupa. Okay? So nama, anything you analyze in the creation is nama and rupa, name and form. Anything. Your body, you look at it, the cells has name and form, kidney cells have different name and form, heart cells have different name and form. So all name and brain has a different name and form of cells. Everything is, and what is nema? If everything is name and form, and name and form, name is non-separate from its form. If I mention a word, pen, automatically a form comes into your head. Pen, tree, apple, table, chair. These are all names, but form, its meaning of the word is already there. Name and form are inseparable. You can't separate the two. Then you say, if you can't separate it, you don't have to mention form. You can just say nema, nama is okay. That's what the Shastra says. The whole Jagat is nothing but nama, which form is included in it. What is nama? It's a word. What is the word? It's a knowledge. Then what is the whole Jagat? Is total knowledge. What is that? Sarvagnya. So Ishvara is Sarvagnya, total knowledge. And what is this Jagat then? It's a manifestation of the knowledge. There's no real content. The The content is Ishvara himself, Sat Chit Ananda. Satyam Jnanam Anantam is the content. That's why anything you see is available as Sat. Tree is means Sat. Your body is means Sat. Space is means Sat. Is pervaded by Sat and is limitless. So what is it pervades? It's anitya. It's called mithya. The time is mithya. The jagat is mithya. Mithya, the word is used because you cannot deny it. It is not there because you experience it. We are talking, question answer is there. We are experiencing it. But when you look into it, does it fall into the definition of satyam? Because satyam is which cannot be negated in any period of time. That's called satyam, the truth. It does not fall into that category. And asat means non-existence. So now we see a jagat. It does not fall into satyam because it changes. It's not same in all three periods of time. It can't say asat, non-existence, because we experience it. So what should we say it is? It's in between reality. So they had to coin a word for it. And the word is mithya. Means it's neither sat nor asat. It is there as long as you see there. You experience it as long as it's there. Otherwise, in reality, if you look at it, it is only sat. And sat is chit. And chit is anand sarupa. So there, when we say anitya, what will end? Only by knowledge. See, this whole thing is in ignorance. Is avidya upadhi. Or you can say maya upadhi. In that there is a time. Time is created, space is created, earth is created, fire is created, vayu is created, apa, water is created. All within that jagat thing. Time is also within that jagat. So that anitya, that ends only with knowledge. Knowledge dispels this ignorance, which is everything is in ignorance. Karya of ignorance, we call it. But it remains, what remains is you, which is nitya. Everything else is anitya. Is that clarifies it? Okay.
Swamiji.
No problem.
Hari Om Swamiji.
Oh.
So, just going back to that question that she had asked about karmas and not interacting with certain relationship, or just an example. So, I believe my understanding is that we should not have anything left to attain moksha, or like that sense of freedom in reality. So, and I also read and understand that most of the relationship that we have is because of your past life or the karmas that you carry. So now when we don't interact, aren't we keeping it for later? Like, won't we be taking another birth? Because this is what I understand, that karma is any action. It need not be good or bad. So we need to deplete that entire collection of karmas that we accumulate to attain that eventual ananda, like, the moksha, or whatever you call, yeah.
You see, the way I understand the question is, like any interaction you do, there is going to be karmas. So is that going to be deposited, all that? So how do we get moksha? Is that the question?
Yeah, like my understanding is like we need to empty that entire set, good and bad both, to attain that.
Yeah.
So now, like, if you're taken a janma and most of the relationship or whatever things or people are in your life is because of your karma from in number of lives that you have, and we need to work it out to clear that karmic debt that you have.
Yeah,
so,
you will never work it out.
So are we in an endless loop then?
Yeah, because the karmas are beginningless. They are no ending. They are beginningless and they are countless. Okay?
So is there no hope, Swamiji, then?
Yeah, that's a good question. You see, that's what the whole teaching tradition is. Very good question. See, now the question is, you understand the problem. That karmas are countless and they'll keep giving birth again and again. So how would solve the problem of not having next birth? Because the karmas always will be there and it will give birth. No, you can't stop it. That's why we are here today, you know. So, in fact, that is the whole teaching tradition, to make the person free, moksha. They're not through karmas. Karmas only prepare your mind. Karma you do in such a way, which we call karma yoga, that it helps you prepare your mind. And all these, what you're saying is janma and birth and death and collecting karmas, all these are because of what reason? Because of you say, I am the karta, I am the doer, I am going to face the result. Okay, I am the karta, I am the bhokta. Who is this I? The whole teaching tradition is on this. Who is this I who said, I am karta, I am bhokta, I am taking birth, and so many births I may have to take, there are so many karmas are there in my account. Who is this person? So this is what the whole teaching tradition is. What the teaching says, that you are not the karta. Your real swarupa, real swabhava, nature, is Atma, self, is Ishvara, Paramatma, one the same. That, but in your case, like we, all of us which have this body, there's a pocket of avidya, ignorance. The ignorance, not knowing what happens, then the same I identifies with whatever is in the front. Because you have a sukshma shrira and that reflects consciousness. Then you become conscious of yourself. Same I is becoming conscious, oh I am. But it doesn't know because there's a vidya covering it. Then you say, you see body in front, oh, I am this body female, oh, I am male. The same I identifies with it and creates, that's what we are doing in the class, a false guy, a false entity called Jiva. Jiva is a false entity, only created because of combination of avidya and Atma, ignorance and Atma. Now what the solution is, this is the karta, the Jiva is the karta, but he is a product of avidya and Atma. So suppose you get rid of avidya, okay, avidya is removable, any ignorance you can remove by knowledge. Suppose you remove that ignorance of the self by knowledge, what remains? Suppose there is no ignorance, what remains? Atma, Paramatma. So that the whole purpose of traditional teaching, Sampradaya teaching, of Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads and Brahma Sutras, all these texts is to remove that ignorance by knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of your own Swarupa. Knowledge of Ishvara. Knowledge of Jagat, then okay, where do I stand with the Jagat? Knowledge of the Jagat. Then who am I? Knowledge of Atma. Ishvara, Jagat and Atma. All these three relationships.
So Swamiji, so is it right to think that when we take birth in the Jagat, so we will be doing these karmas? So it's that aspect, that very fact of being born, we'll still do that. Like, for example, I'm saying from like Lord Krishna, so if you see that the way he leaves the earth, that traces back to his avatar as Rama, where that action brought this whole scenario into place, like in his next avatar. So is my understanding right to think that if we are going to be coming into this Jagat, we'll be part of this play where we will be doing karmas, good or bad? So we'll be in that duality of right and wrong.
That's true, but who's the karta? The karta was a false guy. If you remove the false guy by knowledge, there is no identification anymore because avidya is not there. What remains is Atma. Atma is not a karta. Atma is a karta.
So it's experiencing this whole thing.
Then what happens? You say, I am Atma. This karma which was done, by in ignorance it was done by jivatvam, by me, but I was ignorant that time. So it's kind of a negated ego remains. Yeah. It's like you read a burnt, if the newspaper is burnt, you can still read some, background, some words and all that. It's like that. Jiva is almost negated by knowledge. Okay. It's a false guy. Okay. What is truth is Atma in you, which you says, I belongs to Atma. But it mistakes it. It mistakes it as the body, even though you are aware of the body. Then we ask you, who's the one who's aware of it? You say, I am aware of it. Hey, if you are aware of it, then you are not that one. If I am aware of the table, I am not the table. So then all this analysis, all this teaching tradition, this is the whole purpose of this teaching tradition, is to remove that ignorance. So you can see that I was always free. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hariom Swamiji, in spite of exhausting karmas, in this janma we still take rebirth. Why this happens?
By what? Sorry?
In spite of exhausting karmas,
Yeah.
so that life ends, the janma ends, right? But still we have rebirth.
No, there won't be rebirth. Because rebirth is always because of ignorance. See, rebirth, to have a rebirth, you got to have account karmas. But the guy whose account it was, is gone. Is like person who I gave example earlier, who murdered few people and he's being sentenced, and the day he's sentenced, he commits suicide. Now, what should the judge do? Judge cannot do anything because the karta is gone. So when you eliminate the karta itself by knowledge, when you eliminate it by knowledge, karta is not there. The karmas belong to karta. Then the file is closed because the karta is not there. Only Ishvara was there, Ishvara is there. And this fellow was a false guy, was a product of Atma and Avidya. You have to be careful. It was a product, but it's an impostor. It's a false guy. But it is there. You can't deny it. It's a mithya. But then because of his experiencing of sorrows and all that, getting kicked in the world, he wants to be free. When it wants to be free, that karta, then it looks into it. Where is the solution? And for that solution, he comes, looks, and he sees in the world, there are saints are there, their stories he hears. Might be some solution, so they get interested in the teaching then. Yeah. Otherwise there's no moksha. Suppose, even if after the teaching, if the karta remains, then the birth has to take place. You can't avoid it. But the karta is gone, negated. Yeah. Only some prarabdha is left, it has to go through. But as a wise man, living that prarabdha, that's why the teaching can continue. Suppose the moment you get the teaching and you die, then who's going to continue the tradition? So that's why it's a good thing that jiva is still there, but it's negated jiva. Then it uses to serve the people, to pass down this knowledge from guru to shishya,
Hariom Swamiji again. Suppose a gnani attains, when they attain Mahasamadhi, they say like when avatars are born, they are born gnanis. So is that the devotion of the devotees gives them a body and they come on earth to help the devotees? Is that how it happens in avatars?
Yeah, I understand. What they say is people's karmas. not the devotees, but it's in general of the people's karmas. When the adharma increases to that level, then Bhagavan says, I take birth again and again, just to, correct, just to set the same thing again, What do you call it? Need a correction. It needs correction. So Bhagavan comes and, and does some job for a particular job, and then it goes away. It's the same Bhagavan, like, Atma, Paramatma. And it assumes a form, mithya form, and assumes form, but it knows itself that I am Ishvara. That's Avatara is. Whereas these forms are also Ishvara's form, but we don't know. We don't know that we are that limitless awareness. Ignorance is there. Avatara has no ignorance. And then with no ignorance, he has all the power. He is Sarva Shaktiman, Sarvajnaha. Even you, suppose the avidya is gone. Suppose avidya was not there at all. You are also Sarvajna, Sarva Shaktiman, Parameshwara. It's the ignorance is the one which blocks your vision to see Ishvara. So it's the people's karmas. They invoke Bhagavan. The time has come to make a correction. Everything is Bhagavan is Ishvara behind. Don't think Ishvara's order is not there. Everything runs by orders of Ishvara. Even your life, your physical level, there's different levels, physiological levels, emotional level. They are all orders. The mind also has certain level. The laws are there. If it happens like this, the mind will be angry. And there are levels. And they are all Ishvara, run by Ishvara, order of Ishvara. They don't run by itself. There has to be intelligence behind. Ishvara is the intelligence behind. So don't think it's running just chaos. It's not chaos. It's perfect order. That's why the law of karma is perfect law. You have, it's called avashyam bhavi. Any karma, it has to fructify. There's a law. It will definitely bring result. Doesn't matter now or later. Doesn't matter this janma or next janma. It must fructify. So that's why it's so important to do prayers, to follow certain values, not hurting others. Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 has those values. Amanitvam. Hey, don't be over proud of yourself. What you have accomplished. Be humble. So, because you are not really the accomplisher. Bhagavan gave you such situations, gave you such birth in a family where they allowed you there, where they were a good family, you got good values, you could get educated and all that. Bhagavan provided you that. The body, Bhagavan provided you that. The job, Bhagavan provided you that. The mind, Bhagavan provided you that. It just gave you put you in a right time at the right place. Then you say, oh, I have succeeded. No, you didn't succeed. It's Ishvara. So at every level, you look at Ishvara. At every level. So you offer it to Ishvara. You think of Ishvara. You go to work, you offer it to Ishvara. After the job is done, Bhagavan, I offer this to you. My offering to you. Like you offer flowers, you offer your karmas, you offer your problems. To Bhagavan, solve this. I am in trouble. You offer. And then whatever result comes, is come within the laws, in a fair law. It's a fair law. A justice, perfect justice Bhagavan has. Only our karmas are the one which manifest in different ways. Then how do we improve our lives? We improve our lives with change of thinking. change of lifestyle, change of creating having good values, so that you get good samskaras. You spend your time in understanding, in studies, in education, in self-growth. Don't waste away your human birth. It's very difficult to get human birth. Accept your body as it is. It's a Bhagwan's gift. Accept your mind as it is Bhagwan's gift. Accept your spouse as he or she is Bhagwan's gift. Accept children, they are Bhagwan's gift. And they all have come with their own prarabdha, their own karmas, their own destiny. They have to go through. You are not going to be responsible for all their actions or their whole life. You can help them grow well. It's like a plant. You nourish them, you protect them. But the destiny, they come with their own karmas also. Sometimes you can't stop it. Then you can't blame yourself. You do your best to raise children. You do your best to bring them up. You be the role models for them, because they're going to watch you. They pick up those values. If you fight with your spouse, they learn, oh, the solution is fight. If the anger is shown in home, the solution is anger. They start learning that. So when they grow up, they get into trouble because they get angry at the boss, they get fired. So you have to teach them, model them good values. You knowing very well they're going to pick it up. If you're fighting with your spouse, don't fight in front of them. It makes them insecure. It also teaches them, if there's a problem, you fight. No, you have to show them that it is the love which solves the problems. Understanding, communication. You talk to them, explain to them. This is so important. Our children in this country, they're having difficulties because they're born in two cultures. And two cultures, they're confused. At home they come, they're Indian culture. Outside, all the time surrounded by Western culture. How can you blame them? If they're not following the values of Indian values which we were brought up with, you can't blame them. Because they are all the time exposed to Western culture. And they want to be part of the people. They want to have friends like we did. And the friends are all in the Western culture. So you can't say, okay, don't make those friends, don't make that friend. Then they rebel you and they reject you. Then they leave a house. They got with the wrong people. So that's why the communication is very important at home. Open communication. Not making judgment on the kid, then they won't talk to you. If you start giving them advice, they won't talk to you. They are not there to listen. They are not talking to you to get advice. They are talking to you, let their feelings out. See how they feel, what they feel. You acknowledge them. You understand them, what they're going through. Then you acknowledge them, yes, this must be very hard for you. Don't say, don't worry, this is nothing, we all have gone through. No, you have not gone through what these people are going through. It's a rough world. You got to give them freedom. You have to supervise them, but at the same time, you have to give them freedom also, Anyway. Okay, we'll have further classes coming. I won't be teaching now because of, this was, as I mentioned before, these new people are here. I'm a substitute teacher. So later on I'll be starting my own classes, we'll see when. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you.